Hello everyone. The objective of this study was to determine the phytotoxicity of Flagyl or metronidazole to soybean plants using the relative growth rate method or the RGR method. The purpose was to estimate the environmental risks posed by using untreated wastewater from pharmaceutical manufacturing companies as irrigation water for the cultivation of soybean. So seeds of soybean were planted in a greenhouse, and the plants were divided into three groups, namely the control group, the plants exposed to 50 milligram per liter group, which are called group B, and the plants exposed to 100 milligram per liter of Flagyl solution, which are called group C. After exposure, 5 days after exposure, 10 replicates from each group was harvested. 10 days after exposure, the remainder 10 replicates were harvested. The harvested plants were dried in an oven at 72 degrees Celsius for 24 hours. The relative growth rate, RGR, expressed as grams per day, was determined using this formula: natural log of W2 minus natural log of W1 divided by T2 minus T1, where W2 is the weight of the plant 10 days after harvest, after exposure, and W1 the weight of the plant 5 days after exposure. T2 represents 10 days, T1 represents 5 days. So after the RGR was determined, statistical evaluation was performed to determine if there was any statistical differences amongst the three groups. One way ANOVA was also used to conduct multiple comparisons to determine the relationship between the concentration of Flagyl applied to each of the groups and the consequent toxicity expressed as RGR. One way ANOVA showed that there was statistical differences amongst all three groups. This box plot was generated to illustrate what one way ANOVA shows us. So here we have group here we have group C. The distribution of the RGR is skewed towards the upper percentile, meaning that although all the plants were affected by exposure, a few of them were more significantly affected than others. For group B, we see that the distribution of RGR is fairly even, meaning that the impact on all the plants was the same. For group A, we see that the RGR distribution is also fairly even, but some of the plants grew bigger than others. We conclude that metronidazole or Flagyl is toxic to soybean. Thank you.